home orders is like house arrest. Other than slavery, which was a different kind of restraint, this is the greatest intrusion on civil liberties in American history.
Now, I know that's ridiculous for, let's say, 100 different reasons, but do spare a thought there for his description of slavery as a different kind of restraint. That phrase is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, much like slaves did when, and this is true, they were literal slaves. And what is particularly striking about Barr's extreme behavior over the last year and a half is that when Trump first nominated him, the news was basically greeted with relief.
Barr will be seen as a relatively non-controversial choice, an establishment choice.
William Barr's a sort of an old establishment hand.
He's an institutionalist. He's a grown-up.
He's an adult. He's a grown-up.
This is someone who is an adult in the room.
I think someone like Bill Barr, who has experience, seems like he'd be a better adult in the room for us.
Adult in the room. Look, not only is being an adult an absurdly low bar to set for the highest levels of government, but it also implies that the main problem with Trump is that he is childish. And I know that it makes for a fun balloon now and again, but at its core, I wish that white nationalist with an authoritarian streak would act his age is sort of missing the point here. But you can kind of see why people were so willing to embrace Barr. He had previously served as Attorney General under George H.W. Bush, so he at least knew what the job involved. And his two immediate predecessors as Trump's AG were the racist goblin formerly known as Jeff Sessions, and then, for a few crazy months, Matthew Whitaker, a man who was once embroiled in a scandal over a patent company he was involved in, whose clients included the inventor of a masculine toilet for the well-endowed. So yeah, by that standard, Barr was the adult in the room. But it's worth remembering, some adults are arseholes, and Barr is very much one of them. But he is also very much more. He is a driven, deeply moralistic man with extreme views on executive power, actually making him one of the more dangerous figures in the Trump administration, which I know is saying something. But if Trump gets a second term, Barr is only going to be more dangerous going forward. So tonight, let's talk about Bill Barr. And let's start with the fact that from a very early age, he was simply a nightmare. Here is his old boss at Barr's swearing in, sharing a fun anecdote from his childhood.
The newspapers report Bill Barr was giving Eisenhower for President speeches when he was in kindergarten. And his parents passed along the word that young Bill was discoursing about separation of powers before he gave up his pacifier.
What a weird thing to share on someone's first day in a new job. Hey, everyone, please welcome Bill. He's from New York, and fun fact, as a child, he was a little narc who devoted himself to an unhealthy worship of authority instead of cultivating any meaningful relationships. We're so glad to have Bill on board. Now, veneration of authority has been a consistent through line of Barr's life. At Columbia University in the anti-war 60s, he stood out for being incredibly pro-law enforcement, so much so that he brought police coffee